Okay, here we go. Episode 8, fiddly bits. So I'm just going to be doing little fiddly bits of sanding, like on the headstock of the guitar. Going to drill some holes. I am going to do the scratch plate, which is going to be kind of that tortoise shell effect that matches the binding on the neck, and there's also going to be some copper on there, so we're going to do a little bit of copper work. Nothing big, nothing amazing, little fiddly bits, and it's these little fiddly bits that kind of make that extra mile. You know, if you concentrate on the small bits, the bigger picture looks better always. And that's not just in guitar making, that's in kind of life, you know. So concentrate on the small bits, the bigger picture will always look better. And that's it with this guitar. So episode 8. 8. Here we go. Let's do it. Okay, so I've got a nice sheet here of scratch plate material. Gone with the same stuff that basically would match the neck binding. I'm going to make a scratch plate, so I've drawn out a design on here at the minute. I've got masking tape on there, drawn out a bit of a design, and it's not looking too bad. So I'm going to draw it up a little bit better and get it on the material, and probably cut it out. Okay, so I've cut out this scratch plate shape that I'm going with onto some MDF. I think I like it. I'll find out when I cut it. And I've quickly cut that out. It wants neatening up and drilling, but that's the basic idea. Okay, so I know I asked in the last video if anybody knew anywhere where I could get a copper coloured bridge or a chrome bridge with copper saddles, anything. And you know what? I couldn't find one. Couldn't find one anywhere. So I went online, and this is the style of bridge that I wanted. It's kind of like a hard tail Strat type, I guess. But obviously it's chrome. Now I could knock all this back. I could knock the chrome off all the way down to the copper, but I don't want to do that. So I thought I'll leave the chrome, the main bridge plate as chrome, and I've bought some copper saddles. Now these are going to look really nice because they've got the black springs and the black screws, but also they're a roller. So compared to what's on this bridge at the moment, these have got the rollers, which I really like. So it's going to be a bit more tuning stability. But that's what I'm going with. I'm going with chrome as a plate, and then copper and black as the saddles, and I think that'll look rather nice. Okay, so I realised I got a little bit carried away just kind of messing around with the neck here, and I've marked and drilled the tuning pegs, the tuning holes. All in a nice line. So I'm going to facet this so it matches the body. Sorry if there's noises going on. There's kids outside playing football because it's nice weather. There we go. So I'm going to do some faceting on this, I think, now. So I did the faceting off camera because I wasn't exactly sure what I was doing, and it would have been sort of 10 minutes of me trying to figure out what I was doing. But basically it's faceted the same as the body. Tuning holes are in there. It's radiused. So it's got its inlay. The back is faceted. It's comfy. think fretting is next. I'm just waiting for a fret nipper to turn up from over the Atlantic, and then I'll get to doing it, I think. So I've got the scratch plate, the shape that I want it. Wants a little bit of cleanup as ever, but it's the shape that I want it. So this is copper. Might not look like copper, but that's because it's got a little plastic film on it. I just drew a little thing there and I was completely wrong, so I'm just trying to work out what I want here. I want the scratch plate and the control cavity, which is what this is going to be, the control plate, to kind of interlock, but with a little gap. I want a gap. I think it'll look nicer than just butting up to it. So I want a gap, but it's got to be the same shape, which is fine. But then I need to determine what shape I'm going to do here and where I'm going. So I'm going to start doing some drawing, and then we'll have a look. Okay, so I'm getting somewhere. So a bit of measuring, a bit of cutting out with scissors and marking it with a pencil and stuff. So we're getting there. So I'm thinking something like that in copper. Just notice that's quite a straight line. Maybe I can come in at an angle. Oh, no. Yeah, I could maybe come in at an angle. Let me just keep working at it. Okay, this is the shape that I'm going for. This paper here. So it's going to be copper. It's not going to be buttered up close against the scratch plate. It's just going to have a little joint of wood, you know, just so you can see the wood through it. I quite like the idea of that. So that's going to be copper. So now what I need to decide is how big the cavity is and where I put the tone, the volume and the output jack. So I'm going to work that out. Okay, back in the shed today. Just cleared out a few spiders, fair few spiders to be honest, and I don't like spiders, so that was fun. Anyway, raining outside, it's all right in here. I'm doing a bit of copper today, so this is a sheet of copper, as you can see. Looks pretty thick. I think it's 3mm. I think I bought 3mm. I think it's 3mm thick copper. So for the control plate, that's fine because it's nice and it's strong, and it also allows me to do a little bit of a bevel around it and polish it up. So I've marked out on here. So this is my paper template. It's now on there, just marked out in marker. I need to cut this out, file it all to shape, and then work out where I'm going to have the tone, the volume and the output, and then drill them and just basically make a control plate. So let's get to it. So my thinking is do it on the bandsaw. This might sound really horrible, so I might stop and revert back to a hacksaw, but we'll see. Get in there. Just had a copper shower. It's quite nice, but I'm now going to go back to the or rather I'm going to go to the coping saw. Okay, so that's cut out roughly, lots of sharp edges on it, so I'm just going to spend a bit of time filing it, making it nice and smooth, and then I'll mark out where we want the controls. So I've gone over it quickly with a file, quite a rough file, but now I'm just going to go over it with some, this is 120 sandpaper, just on a little sanding stick here. It's nice and flat, so I'm just going to go over every edge, get it all flat, get it all smooth, then I am going to bevel it. There's no point in trying to just bevel it straight away while it's rough, because you're just asking for work. So just going to sand it all, so you can watch me sand a piece of copper. I'll probably speed it up though. Bit neater. Not that it's showing up on the camera that it's any different, but it's a bit neater. Okay. We're nearly done. Little tiny file just to get on this bit here in the middle. Okay, so this is all filed out the shape that I want it. What I need to do now really, I think, is work out where I want the controls to go. So we're having is going to be a volume and a tone, and then there's going to be an output jack on this plate, which I would like sort of there, something like that. I think they'll fit. So I just need to mark out exactly where I want these. Or I might mark out on the guitar where this is going and look into routing the control cavity, maybe. So I'm just getting ready to do the control cavity. So I've marked out on wood, I've marked out on the guitar where the control plate sits. So obviously I need to be inside that line for the control cavity, otherwise this will just fall through it. So it needs a lip to sit on. and I need to work out exactly now where things are going. So these are the tone and volume. So they've got to sit inside this cavity. Along with the jack plug. They're pretty tight, but I think we can do something with this. Yeah, I think we can do something with that. So I think this is how they're going to go. And that pencil marking is going to be the cavity. And they'll kind of sit in well, something like that. Something like that. I now need to transfer their location to the piece of copper. I need to do some measuring and marking, I think. Okay, I've done some marking, so I've had a bit of measuring. So I've done a centre line, which is along the centre of where the cavity is going to be. And this goes back in place. And I measure where the centres of the pots are. And that's where the centres of the pots are. So the next measurement I need to do is somewhere up here, which is for the jack plug, the jack input. So that's next. Okay, done all the markings. So I've got a marking there, got a marking there, which is for those two, and then I've got a marking there, just where those two lines intersect, and that is for that. Oh, that. They're both pretty much the same. This one's slightly smaller, so I'm inclined to go with that because it's going to be a bit tight in there. So the next job is drilling these holes. And drilling some very neat holes in copper is non-trivial, but we'll do it. Okay, so I've done the world famous super glue and masking tape trick. If you don't know what that is, look it up. So I've got my copper plate solidly secured to a piece of MDF. I'm just going to tap some little holes where I need them, and then I'm going to drill it with my drill. As straightforward as that, hopefully. But let's have a go. Okay, here we go. So first two holes are going to be 8mm, and then I think the jack plug is going to be bigger, so I'll measure that and I'll use another one. But I'm using a step drill, so it should be okay for all. So let me double check where I'm up to here. 2, 3. Whoops. Oh no. One. And the next one. Clean the wood off. I'm going to stamp that a little bit more. Okay, that's those two done. I'm just going to measure this one. $9mm. I think we can go to 10 with that, can't we? Okay, we have some holes. And that's very hot. So I'm going to put it down. So I'll have a clean up here because there's bits of copper everywhere. And we'll see what we've got. Okay, so that was fun. We've got that very rough and ready at the minute. The sides still want even more paper on them to get them shiny. But there's the thing, shiny. Do I want this shiny? Do I want a shiny lump of copper on there? I don't think I do. I suppose I could kind of give it a bit of a brushed finish. Would be nice. Brush the edges, brush the top. Give it a brushed finish. I'm really tempted just to take this off. Should I take this off? I'm going to take it off. Let's take this off. Hang on. Let me change the camera. So, that's where it is at the minute. I'm really tempted to take it off. So let's just have the reveal here. Okay. That wants to come off in a minute. There we go. Got a few scratches and dings and things on it, but I am going to take the time to clean it up. And see, I don't want it that copper colour. It's a bit boring. I need to do something with that. Really do need to do something with that. Firstly, I need to clean up the holes. They're not too bad, but I'm going to clean them up on the back. The top needs sanding to make it all nice. I'm going to round over all these edges. They're not sharp, but I want them to be rounded over a bit. I'm going to give that a bit of a different finish. I need to get some wire wool, I think. I'll see what I've got. I might be able to do it with some fine paper. And just get it all looking quite nice. But not bad for an hour or so's work. Cutting out and drilling. I'll have to see if it fits. Let's check that. Okay, so I've just put the scratch plate and the control plate in place. Not bad for now. I think that'll look quite smart. I just don't want it shiny. I'm going to knock it back a bit with some wire wool or paper, and I think it'll look great. Yeah, I think that'll be nice. So I'm just experimenting here, going back and forth with this to sand it, and I'm thinking of trying maybe to get lines going that way, sanding lines, and then go across at an angle just every now and again to get scratches that way. I think that might look quite nice. I've decided that just brushed in one direction looks best. I tried it kind of doing a checker plate, just didn't look right, so I've gone for a nice brushed effect. As you can see that, if that's showing up, there you go. bit of a brushed effect. So I'm pretty happy with that. That's some good work done there. Okay, there you go. Not bad. I think I'm happy with that. Next job, we're going to do some hollowing out. So I'm just doing some hogging out here for the control cavity. I didn't film the hogging out bit on the drill press because it's a bit boring to watch, isn't it? But I will set up a router template, and I'll film the routing of it. But yeah, we're getting there now. So obviously we've got the control plate here. That's going to sit in there once it's all routed out, which I will do now. Okay, so I had the camera set up then, and I'm looking at the camera. I was talking to the camera and it wasn't on. That's what I get for trying to do it while I'm tired. I need dialysis, so I'm a little bit tired. But I have been, so my arms will testify, I've been routing. Great fun. Here's my cavity. Sorry about the fingers there. There's my cavity. We'll just check if it fits. And we might need to do a little bit of touch up in there, but we'll see. Well, that's the cavity that I've done, and I wish you would have seen me routing it because it was amazing. Well, really, it was just routing, so it's not that amazing. I think you've seen me do it before, and probably countless other people. It's just noisy and very dusty. But let's just try a few bits. Let me just have a hoover up, and then we'll try a few bits. Rightio, let's have a look what I've got. So obviously cavity, put the neck on, so I'm just going to slide this in here. Get it in the right place. Just trying to do it one-handed, so bear with me. Somewhere there, thereabouts. Something like that. And then this bit goes in there quite nicely, exactly how I wanted it. Bring that down a bit. Somewhere there. Maybe a little bit more away. It needs lining up properly, but that gives you some kind of idea. So the cavity's done. In fact, I want to say that's it for routing. All I need to do is sanding, drill the pickup and the earth, fret it, probably a bit more sanding, and then finish it. So it is not far off, not far off at all. So I'm getting pretty excited now because we're getting towards the end. Things I need to do on this control cavity: decide where my screws are going. Probably not many, maybe just one little one up here, and then maybe one here and one on that kind of pointy bit. So 3 screws in that, and then I'll need some screws in the scratch plate. Again, it won't be many, probably sort of one here, one down here, one here, maybe one here, one there, and one up here, I think. So not a huge amount. So I think what I'm going to do is drill, or at least have a look if I've got the correct drill bit. Drill the pickup wire So it needs to go in there, and it needs to go to the cavity, and then from wherever the bridge is, which is here somewhere, into the cavity, so we can wire it up. I'll have a look, see if I've got the right drill bit. If not, I'll buy one, because I need quite a long thin one for this, because it's very shallow. We don't want to ruin it at this stage. So the question is, do I attempt this one-handed? Now, so I don't damage anything here, I've got about 4 layers of tape, and then under there I've got a spare piece of that there. So even if it does kind of rub into the tape, it's going to hit the plastic and not ruin the wood. I've got it clamped, so I could potentially do this one-handed while I'm filming. Is that sensible? I don't know. Basically, I need to go into that corner and come out into that cavity. So let's have a go. There we are. You see that? Just there. So just right. Take that off. Take that off. Wish me luck. Phew. We didn't go through the back. Always the risk. But there we are. So let's just get rid of that. So we have a hole. And it goes just under there, which is great. It came out perfect. There are other ways of doing it. I could get, well, it's probably long enough. I could have gone through the neck pocket flat, out, and then into the cavity at the far end. So just all the way through nice and flat. But we like risks, so we took a risk and we did it. No probs. So let's see if the pickup fits, I think, because I've never actually had it in. Okay, so I've got the pickup here, which is a P90. And we'll get the cable in the hole. And hopefully, with any luck, there it is. Alright. Loads of cable. I won't need all of this cable. Nice. Okay, that fits in there. That's good. Let me just stop this, because it's difficult one-handed. There you go. So, pickup is there, obviously not screwed down. Got the control plate we made in place. Everything will be lined up eventually. And we got the scratch plate and the neck and whatnot. So, you know, that's kind of what it's going to look like. Hang on, let's grab the bridge. Alright, so the bridge going to be, oops, hang on, that one's turned over. There we go. Somewhere there. Something like that. Imagine that with strings on. That would be pretty tasty. Things I still need to decide what knobs I'm going with. Hexagonal would be nice. I think chrome, or if I can get a combination of copper and chrome, that would be even better, but we'll see. But I just don't want round, so I might have to make my own, as ever. Here, so these P90 pickups are held in with just 2 screws, one there and there, those 2 holes there, there and there. With this all being chrome, I would like to screw it in with copper screws, just for a, you know, just so it looks, it just breaks up all the chrome, just so there's 2 copper screws there. But I can't find copper screws. Is it something they don't make? Let me know. Let me know. If you can write in the comments down there, if you know anywhere that sells copper screws, I'll be very, very grateful, because I cannot find any anywhere. Maybe it's something that they just don't make because they'd be very soft. But I think that's probably the end of this episode. So I don't think there's been sort of many bits of me actually doing things, but I've got quite a few bits done. Somewhere I forgot to put the camera on, sorry. But you know, I've done some metal work, obviously a bit of woodwork, but I think that's the end of this episode. So next episode, hopefully will be fretting, if my tool ever gets here from overseas. So next episode will be sanding first, I think, then fretting, and we'll start to kind of locate the bridge exactly where it needs to be. I'll see if I need to go any lower with the pickup. We'll see. I do want a little bit of movement on that, so I can adjust it. At the moment it's sitting flat and it's still quite high up, so I think I might need to go in a little bit deeper with that, but that's fine. I've got a few ideas what I want to do to the wood before I start applying finish. But I think the next episode is going to be sanding and fretting, and bridge location, I think. But that's it for this episode. So thanks, guys, and I'll take some photos as ever. Cheers. See you on the next one. And here's those photos. So that's the close-up of the control plate, which, as you can see, it runs with the grain. So the scratches that I've put on run with the grain, so I quite like that. And there's the kind of the whole mock-up of all the hardware and the end of the neck and whatnot. And finally, there's the facets on the headstock. So there you go. Thanks a lot. Bye bye.